did you grow up? You grew up in Canada, right? But where in Canada did you grow up?
Where what?
Well, see, you didn't know who you were.
Where
in Canada?
What about it?
Did you grow up?
Oh dear.
Where did I live?
Yeah,
put that
yeah.
thing
Well, I
Where did you
lived
live?
up in a town by the name of Cardinal. It's not too far from Montreal. It's right on the St. Lawrence River. It's a small little town. They had a big factory, a starch factory there, and everybody worked for that factory. I don't think it was over maybe 600 people in the town, but everybody worked for the factory. Yeah.
And that's your dad made barrels in the factory,
My
right?
dad made barrels, well, he made those for the factory too. He was paid by the factory for doing that. They shipped starch out in those barrels that he made. Yeah.
And you said that he made what, like a nickel a barrel?
Something like that, yeah.
And they could do.
I know he would, if he made 50 barrels, he'd make about $2.50 in a day. And at that time, that was good money. Yeah. Because most of the people only made about $1 a day. Yeah.
So when you're making a barrel, do you have to make the rings too, or do you get the rings? Do you have a blacksmith or something make the rings?
Well, you mean the staves and the heading, that's the ends of them, they were all cut out and they're all ready to put in.
Oh.
You didn't have to make them, they were all ready to put in. You just put them together, the barrels together. But you had the staves and those ends, heading they call them.
Oh, okay.
He just lived in a small town in a river.
St. Lawrence River on one side and the St. Louis and the canal.
other side.
Gallops Canal, Gallops, Gallops Canal. Was on the other side. Today that's all changed. They run a road across the canal and you go through the canal of the town and out from one end and out the other.
They moved one town to.
Yeah, they took the bridge away. There used to be a bridge across there and they took it away. You don't need it anymore.
What was your dad like?
What?
What was your dad like?
Very nice. That's all I can tell you.
What was that, my father?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a nice man. Yeah. Very fine. He was a French Canuck. And his grandfather, no, his great-grandfather came from France, and he came over with, who did I tell you, the great explorer, French explorer, Cartier.
That's it.
Oh, really?
He came over to Canada with Cartier, my father's grandfather.
Wow.
They have a book all about the family. It's in Ottawa, and it goes back to the days of when they came over from France.
So who's got the book?
We haven't, and our name's in it too.
So you have.
They brought it up to date, and they've got us in it. Yeah.
Just a little book.
But it goes back those people back in those days, they didn't have money. What they did, they traded. They traded eggs for some meat or chickens and things like that, or meat for potato and things. Yeah, it was all barter, more or less, the way they lived.
What did your dad like to do outside of work?
I don't know.
He liked to go to
He
ball game.
He was a great sport. He liked to see sports. He would go to ball games. He loved to go to the ball game. He liked the horse races. He'd go and see the horse races. Yeah, that's about all there was to go and see. And that was our days. Yeah.
What was your mom like?
She was
She's
her
Irish.
father,
Irish.
her grandfather. No, her father came from Ireland, and he was a very successful farmer. He lived in Charleston Lake, Ontario. And as I say, he was well to do. He was a great horseman. He always had very fine horses. And I remember he had one of these fancy carriages where you sit up in front and the rest of them sit down in the back behind.
Really?
Yeah, I saw a picture of it. And she told about how proud they would be when they would come to the fair in Rockville. They'd drive that carriage with the horses stepping in, where they were proud.
That must have been really neat. And what? So, did your mom work, or was she?
No.
No. She was just She said that she had taught school one time, but I doubt it like very much. I don't think she knew enough to teach school, but she said that she had been a school teacher. Yeah.
Well, why would you doubt
And
it?
then she worked for her brother who had a big hotel in Charleston Lake. And the people came from all over. They came from Pittsburgh and Buffalo and Chicago even, and Montreal, Toronto. They all came there to go fishing at Charleston Lake, and they stayed at his hotel. Yeah. When I was a kid, I stayed at his hotel all summer. In the summer vacation, I was like a poop boy. I run errands for all the people wanting anything, you know, and I helped in the kitchen, and I did all kinds of work for them. Yeah.
What were your parents' names?
My father's name was William. My mother's name was Julia.
Okay.
Julie.
Now I had heard at some point that the family name originally was Hamill,
Right.
That's right.
and
it
it
was.
changed to. When did that happen?
Well,
That
back
changed
through
to
the time, because they weren't educated.
Mhm.
My father could read and write, but he had a couple of brothers that they didn't know how to read and write. Yeah, but he could read and write too. And there
Some
was
of the
his
same.
brothers that knew about it. The one Uncle Eddie, he went to Prescott, and when he went there, he said the name should be Hamill, so he changed it to Hamel. And then another uncle, Uncle Andy, who went to Syracuse, New York, he changed it to Hamill when he went to Syracuse. And they went by that name, Hamill, Hamel. But I never, if I had known ahead of time when I went to Buffalo, I would have changed it. Because I like the name Hamill much better than Hamill. Yeah, that's a long while ago too.
So it was your great grandfather that.
I don't know what it was, but he did. My grandfather, he didn't know how to read and write. As a kid, I used to read the newspaper to him and tell him, you know, boy, he'd sit there and he'd listen when I'd read what happened in the newspaper. Yeah.
What did your grandfather do?
This was William also. Yeah.
What did he do though? What did he do for a
He
living?
was just a plain laborer.
Okay.
Yeah. He would, when he was a young man, he'd go up in the fall with a group of men, and they cut down trees all winter long. And then in the spring, they would bring those to the water and make barges, and then they'd ship them, take them down the river to the mills, take them to the sawmills. And of course, that's where they'd saw them up. But that was what he did. He'd work there all winter long. Yeah.
Okay. So he was a lumberjack then.
Yeah, I'd say he was a lumberjack. That's right.
When we went up in Canada, we watched all those little logs came down the river, down the water like that, you know, and so a lot of them we'd be driving along the road, and the great big high trucks with the long
We're carrying
rugs.
They were carrying logs
Yeah.
to the mills. But nowadays they take them by truck. But at that time they run them
They
down
didn't
the
have
river.
roads. They had to run down the rivers.
And they always had the sawmills on the river. Yeah.
Grandpa, we were talking earlier about that you had 3 brothers.
That's right. Even older than he is, right?
Are you the youngest of 3, or
No.
you're the middle brother?
In the middle.
Yeah, the older brother is this in May. He's going to be 3 years older than me, 92. And then Jerry, that's my younger brother, he'll be 87. No, he'll be 82 years younger. Yeah, 87.
87.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, in August. And I'll be 89 in August.
And don't ask how I am.
Okay.
Grandma was 84 in January. Yeah.
Right.
Until-
But we'd like to have all of our grandchildren and everybody come visit us.
So, what are the names of your brothers?
Gerald.
My oldest brother is Robert, and Bob they call him. And the younger one is Gerald, and they call him Jerry. As their nicknames. Yeah.
You said Bob was at a jewelry store.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
He's retired though some time ago. I don't know, the family has the store. Quite a big affair, I guess. They had one boy, but then they had several children, didn't they? The son had several children.
I don't know, you call them so, there's only 2 or 3 maybe, I don't know.
Well, some of them went out west, remember, and out Winnipeg or something like that. Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Well, what and what did Jerry do for a living?
A shoe salesman. Shoes.
Gerald. Yeah.
That's right.
Gerald, yeah, he's all his life he was a shoe salesman. Yeah.
They have a lovely place in Canada, and when it's on a lake, it's just
Some falls.
fall.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name, but it doesn't matter anyway. But it's a beautiful place.
It's on the waterway. It's on the Trent Waterway
Oh, okay.
where they live, and it's what's the name of that fall? I can't remember.
Doesn't matter.
Are there uncles or other people that you remember particularly something about them?
I have one of my father's brother was a professional hockey player.
No kidding.
Yeah.
What team did
His name was Fred.
he play for?
Yeah. That was over in Canada. That was before I was born. And I heard the story about it. He was a professional hockey player, and then he caught a bad cold and it turned into pneumonia and he died.
Oh dear.
But he was they said he was a terrific hockey player.
That must be where you got your playing.
Not me.
All the sports.
Maybe, I don't know. My father, he was a great sport fan.
You used to play hockey.
Yeah.
I used to go over to Canada for Erie, and they had, and we go over there.
You watch him play hockey?
Yeah.
The company, the Marine Trust Company, had a hockey team. Yeah. And I was a part of it.
So you played on the company's hockey team?
We had in Buffalo on the lake right there. It was swollen.
Delaware Park Lake.
Yeah, and we go over and skate on the ice.
Yeah, we'd take the kids over and they'd take a toboggan and the sleighs and I'd pull them around the ice with my skates on. I'd skate around and pull them.
Grandma, you grew up, did you grow up in Buffalo?
No, when I was 10 years old, we came to Buffalo. We was from a little town near Jamestown.
Cherry Creek.
Is that in New York?
Yeah.
New York, yeah.
It was about 40 miles out from Buffalo. Yeah.
And what did your dad was a butcher,
Yeah.
right? And he raised horses, or he just...
Everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was a great horseman too. He loved horses. If a horse was sick, he knew how to take care of them, make them better too.
And then they went every week. They go once a week or twice a week, and they go to the other towns. They drive in somebody's driveway and ask them what kind of meat they want. And they have a great big thing, and they'd open up and they'd say, well, 5 pounds of this or 5 of that or something like that. And then they go to the next house and the next way downtown.
And so he just bring the...
He'd go all the country houses and sell them meat.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Kept you well
And he had
fed.
a shop in Cherry Creek too. Meat shop. I guess Charlie run that, did he? When he was gone?
No.
Your mother took the meat out in the country and your father stayed in town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did, so your mom worked with your dad then?
Yeah. And then she was sort of a nurse too.
Oh, really?
It was always like a baby.
She was a family nurse, but she wasn't a registered nurse.
No.
Like a midwife?
That's right.
She was, she had told one time how many children that she had brought into this world.
You go back one day and he said, wow, that's number 31. It was the same as ours with their grandchildren, right?
Huh.
That's funny.
That's neat.
She was a wonderful woman, a very nice woman.
What did they like to do? Besides,
Well, they play cards once in a while. Not too much. They had to go to bed early and get up so early in the morning.
Yeah, they were great getting up in the morning. Yeah.
maybe that's where I get it from.
Could be.
Not me.
No, he likes to sleep. Right.
Go to bed late and get up late in the morning.
And then when I got out of school, I had a beauty shop.
So, did you have brothers and sisters, Grandma?
Mm-hmm. 2 sisters and one brother. 4 of us.
What were their names?
His brother was Charlie, and his sisters were Ethel and Florence.
Well, yeah, nobody liked their own names. So.
And where were you relative to? Were you the oldest or the youngest?
No, I was the youngest one.
Oh, okay.
My dad always called me the day I was a baby.
Carrie. Did Basil was saying that he really didn't spend a lot of time with his brothers. They didn't really hang out together.
They didn't, not too much.
What about you and your family?
No, I wouldn't.
Oh, she was very friendly with her sister Ethel.
My one sister. And my other sister got married when she was 15. And we never were close together.
And that was Flo?
Because we were close with Charlie. We used to go and visit Charlie. He'd come and visit us too. But she was close with Charlie. She lived with her sister Ethel quite a bit of time in Rochester, New York. Buffalo too, I guess, in about a year.
Oh.
Yeah.
What did your grandfather do?
Oh, he was in the shoe business. And my grandfather.
Your grandfather?
Sure, his mother, or my mother's father,
Oh, his shoemaker, was he? I didn't know that.
But David, V-A-V-A-V-A-T-A, something like that.
Well, I remember him quite well now, I'm sure. Yeah, it was your grandfather.
Yeah.
He lived in Auburn, or
No,
not
that's
Auburn,
a brother.
wasn't it?
That's a brother.
Oh, it was a brother. I didn't know your grandfather then. But we had an article that her father's family came from England. And a baby was died coming from New York up to Buffalo, and the baby was buried on the way from New York to Buffalo somewhere.
I don't remember that.
I remember that. I don't know who told us that they had it written out somewhere.
And your family name is?
Crum.
Crum.
C-R-U-M-B.
Same as
Cookie.
So he was a shoemaker.
And my mother's mother died when she was 12 years old. Something like that. So I never knew her. But my dad's grandmother, we used to go up there a lot. Old grandma.
So you grew up pretty much in the 1910, 1920s, right?
Yeah.
You got married around 19...
I was 18, or I was in 1908 when I was married, born.
So, yeah, so you got married in the late 1920s then, right?
28. 1928.
26.
26.
We got married at 26.
Oh.
Would have to be for... Yeah, she's right.
Right.
So when did you go to Buffalo from Canada?
I was about 18 years old, 19
Yeah,
years
I was
old.
about 18 or 19, I forget which.
What made you decide to do that?
And
Well, I had, my mother's sister lived in Buffalo. They came to visit. She asked me if I wouldn't like to come over there and live in Buffalo. And my folks said, boy, you go to the United States, everybody gets rich, they go over there. So I would go over there to get rich, but I didn't get rich. Yeah, if you went to the United States, you were supposed to get rich, and the streets were paved with gold. But I found there was no gold on the streets, too. Yeah.
So what did you do first when you? So that was now from something that Mom said, when he first came to Buffalo, he lived in the house next to yours or behind
Back
yours?
of us,
In back of
on
yours?
another street, and our backyards come together.
Wow, and how old, so you were, what,
I was
about
about
15, 16?
14 years old when I
14,
started
15?
met him.
Yeah, she was 18. We knew one of the for 4 years when we got married. I worked a couple places, then I went with the bank, and I liked that very much, so I stayed there.
And you'd also you played piano in a theater,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yeah, I was some piano player. Yeah. I also had a fiddle, a violin. Yeah, and I didn't play that any better than I did the piano. Yeah.
So how long did you just do that for a couple of months when you first came in, or?
What do you mean?
You can play with that anytime. Everybody had the piano, and we had a
But
violin.
did you play in movie theaters though, or?
No.
Oh, you
Yes,
just-
I did.
Yes,
In
you
Cardinal,
did.
I played in the movie theater. Yeah, for the silent movies. Yeah, at that time there was just silent movies, and I used to play the piano. And the guy would give me $1. Yeah. For
Those
playing.
were the days, huh?
Yeah. Guy that had the movie theater.
Oh, that's great. So how when Basil first moved in with his uncle, I mean, how long was it before you really had an eye for him, Grandma?
And what? And what?
How long before you two really got attracted to each other?
Oh no, well, I guess we had a falling out a couple of times. And we got back together. I went around with her cousin June.
Yeah.
And then we had no ways we got back together because I think we were supposed to be. For one another. We deserved one another, I guess. Is that what they say?
65 years, yeah.
Yeah.
So when you started the bank, you were a teller, right? What
Were
did
you
you do at the bank first?
At the bank.
Oh, I started in the lowest position. No, I started in the safe deposit vault. Then I went over to the bookkeeping. And I worked from there up to manager. Took a long while, too. Wasn't very smart. No.
You're not supposed to tell everybody that.
Well, I wasn't.
How long did it take to go from? How many years were you there before you were manager?
Oh, I don't know. I got to be a
40?
manager when I was about 40,
Oh,
I
40?
guess. So 20-some years, I guess. And there was a lot of guys that I knew that stayed down bookkeeping or tellers. So I guess it wasn't too bad.
You're a lot smarter than them, right?
Yeah. No, I liked every part of it. I liked the bookkeeping. I was good at bookkeeping. I never made mistakes hardly. Then I was a good teller. I liked being a teller too. And then assistant manager, I was that for about, assistant manager for about 3 years or so. 3 or 4 years, I guess, before Ed Lawler retired, and I took his place. I had gone away to a bank over on the east side, and then when he was going to retire, they brought me back. Or I had been for, I had worked in this Bidwell office for many years. Yeah.
Now, one of the things that when everyone in my family knows that there was at some point a commercial made about a loan that you'd made to a little boy who wanted, but nobody knows exactly. Yeah, some people say it's a puppy, some people say it's a frog, some people say it was a rabbit.
No, that was a mouse.
It was for a mouse.
Cute little fellow. His name was Tony.
Yeah, and he wanted to give it to his sister.
His name was
Tony
Taylor.
Yeah, right.
And Taylor was the name. And he came in one day and he said, "Mr. Amell," he said, "I would like to make a loan of 50 cents. And I said, "What are you going to do with that?" He said, "I'm going to buy a tame rabbit or a tame mouse up here."
For his sister.
And, I don't remember that part of it.
Yeah.
He said he was going to buy a tame mouse. So he said, "And I can pay you back." He said, "So much." I said, "How will you pay me back?" And he said, "Well, I'll give you so much when I get my allowance." So I give him the 50 cents, and gosh, if he can, I guess his father heard about it or something, and he made him come back and give me I think he gave me 2 quarters in return or something like that. Yeah.
That was cute. I have a picture of him. He's real cute.
Yeah.
Yep.
So did they make was it a TV commercial they made out of it, or was
Yes,
it
they did. The bank made something about it. They wrote that up. They didn't show any pictures. They just told about it.
Mm.
Yeah, and they added to it. I think they made it more flowery than it was. Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. But his parents and his grandmother used to come and tell me about it. Yeah. I knew the family quite well.
Mom said that you
Uh-huh.
were a beautician and that you had your own shop for a while, right?
Before we were married, this woman on Niagara Street had a hat shop and a beauty shop.
Right.
And so Elva bought the thing, and then she got rid of all the hats and just used it as a beauty shop. And she used to make more money on one day, on Saturday, than I would make for all week.
And this was when you were, what, 17, 18,
About
right?
18.
Well, that's when we were first married, yeah.
That's a lot of,
About 18.
that's a heck of an accomplishment for a 17-year-old to have their own,
Yeah.
have their own
Yeah.
shop. Right?
She made quite a bit of money. Saturday, she'd be booked for 8 o'clock in the morning or 9 in the morning until 6 o'clock at night.
Mm.
And she was all day long doing that.
It's probably hard work.
Yes, sir, boy.
But I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The 4 kids.
Mine were all at home except Dick
Dick was born in
went
the
to the
hospital. The rest was born at home.
So they're all at home. And Grandpa was alone and he helped. Took the baby.
No kidding.
I come home one Saturday night. We worked on Saturday. We worked from 4 to 6, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And we got out about maybe 7, and I come home about 7 o'clock, and here she was ready to have the baby. And it was the worst storm.
Uh-huh.
It was just blowing, you couldn't see across the street. And here the baby was coming. Yeah, so I got a hold of her mother, and she said, well, you just keep her something like steady, and I'll be there. And then I called the doctor and told them, and they told me what to do, and then the baby was born.
Which one was that?
Well, Jeannie was born. I remember
I think it was Jean.
he was born, and I just laid him on my tummy and put a sheet over him until the doctor came.
Mm.
Well,
And that was the second child.
Yeah.
And she was hit with a truck and killed later on.
Yeah. Yeah. How old was she at that point?
2.
Is that it?
Oh dear.
2 and 2 months.
Yeah.
Did she walk out into the street or?
Yeah. My sister has a little girl, the same age, 3 months older, and we're always together. And she just stopped in to visit, and when she went to go, little Jeannie was playing on the floor or something there, and I said, be sure and shut the door there before, open the door.
Uh-huh.
But she undocked it and went out back of him, and she didn't know that. And so Ethel went across the street to back out his car, to back out like that, and a truck came right along, and she was right in the front.
Oh no.
Run right over a great big truck.
And then she picked her up and brought her in, and he gave it to me.
Oh no.
And they held her for a whole hour.
Yeah, her head was flattened right down. Yeah, she never knew what touched her. Oh, that's many years ago.
It was just 18 years, 64 years. It's on the 18th of April, because the same day as Laura, Dick's wife.
Her birthday.
Birthday, the same day.
Yeah.
So then
must have been
Bud
tough.
came along, and then Marge, and then Foster.
I thought that Bud was the youngest.
Oh no,
Bud's older than
Foster.
Mom?
He's the second oldest, and then Marge, and then Foster.
There's 5 years between Dick and Foster, or Bud, and then
Uh-huh.
5 between Bud and Foster.
Hmm. So I know that Mom was a musician.
Yeah.
Was a musician of the family. She played piano and I
Yeah.
guess violin.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
So what did the other kids do?
Well, Bud had, what do you call it, saxophone? Not saxophone, yeah.
Trombone.
Yeah, trombone,
Trombone?
that's it, yeah, right. Yeah. Everybody had, and you go to high school and you had to go in the music department. They all had to do something.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Foster was with the band, you know,
Uh-huh.
and I don't know if Dick ever had
I
any
don't remember.
high school.
Well, I mean, besides music, though, what kinds of things did they do? What were their
None of them
hobbies?
got into sports at all. Well, they had to make their own way. I was, to hell with it, I was working on a bank clerk's salary, maybe making $100 a month,
Mm.
and the 4 kids to feed. And it took every cent we could get a hold of just to feed them and clothe them. So if they wanted spending money, they had to make it themselves. So they all did. They all made the spending money. Own spending money.
But you had enough money for us when we got married. He bought all the furniture and,
Well, I had saved that up over in Canada.
yeah. Mhm.
I had worked for a man over there when I was going to school. And I had saved up, I think something about $700 or $800 I had. And at that time, you could,
That's a
that
lot.
was enough to furnish a house. Yeah. We went down and paid cash for the furniture
Well,
for a house.
I had the beauty shop in the
Yeah.
back of it where we made an apartment.
Mm.
And so we had a living room and
Kitchen?
bedroom, dining room. No,
Yeah.
that was half of the living room. That's right.
Yeah.
So you lived in the back of the beauty shop then?
Yeah, well, not too long. I think it was just for 1 year, wasn't it?
Something like that.
So just for a short while.
So all the other kids spend time going out and
Oh,
finding some way to make money then?
Yeah, we did.
And
Yeah.
I know our kids never got spending money.
No.
No. Well, Marge did when she was in nursing, yeah. Your mother did when she was nursing. I used to have to give her, I don't know, $5 a week or something like that. I'd give her
Mm.
for her spending money, and I'd buy her clothing, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not like it is today.
Yeah.
Not like today.
Well, I didn't have it. Couldn't give them something you didn't have.
No, when I see things about the 20s, it seemed like a really wild time.
A
Everyone,
long time.
everyone having, just cars just coming out and
I
having
remember
dragsters.
the first car come to our little town. Everybody going to see the car. Yeah.
What do you remember about World War I? Was it some?
My dad's brother went to France.
Oh, really?
Not even order fought.
Did he survive? Did he make?
Yeah, he went home.
He did, and a friend of his was right there, and he was shot right next to him while he was in the war. Yeah.
Were you pretty conscious of the war going on the whole time?
Oh yeah.
I know we were. I was going to school.
Oh yeah. All the bells rang and everything whenever the war was over.
Mm.
Yeah, that was a big time when that war ended. Everybody was happy.
Do you remember the first time an airplane flew
Yeah.
over you?
We went down out to the airport to see Lindbergh.
Yeah, went out and
Yeah.
saw Lindbergh's plane.
Dick was just a little baby in my arms. We went out to see him.
No kidding.
No?
You saw Lindbergh.
He stopped in Buffalo,
Buffalo.
with his plane.
Yeah. You went up in a plane.
Yeah, but not his.
Not that day. That
And
one.
later, there was a guy coming along that was
Yeah.
taking people out.
You wanted to take Dick, and I said, well, he's just a little baby. You don't want to bother taking him. So you went.
I don't remember.
Well, I remember that.
Dick would wind up spending
I
his.
didn't want to lose two of you anyway.
Dick was going to spend enough time in planes anyway for.
Yeah, right.
I'll tell you right now, in those days, those planes weren't any too safe. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a Ford plane that came and we went up in. Yeah.
Ford made planes, really?
He made planes.
Huh.
Yeah.
So, you were working as a banker when the stock crash hit in 1929, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Was there a panic at your branch? I mean, were there people? There wasn't a run on your bank.
No, they just closed the doors, so and that was it. We came to work one morning and they said the bank's closed. That's all there was to it.
Mm.
And it stayed that way for about, I think, around a week. But we had work to do every day. There was checks came back because if the banks were closed. The checks came back to us, and we had to charge them back to the customers and return them.
So
That was quite a thing.
People used to come to our door and ask for a sandwich or something.
oh really?
Mhm.
Well, there was a lot of people worse than today. A lot of people were out of work.
Mhm.
They didn't have anything to eat either.
Mm.
I remember one time Dick was real little, and there was some. They were bringing up an apartment next door to our house, and he went out and watched the men do all that. And every day they'd go out on the corner of the street, and they have a little bag and have their lunch. So Dick always wanted to have his lunch in the bag, and I said, "What do you want that for?" And he says, "Well, I want to go out there where those other people are." So he had his bag opened up and went out and sat on the couch. And then they had his lunch and had it out there sitting with all the men. It was so cute.
So he'd sit with him and eat his lunch with him like they were?
Yeah.
He was just 4 years old, maybe something like that.
So with did the depression really change your lifestyle at all, or did you guys pretty much weather it?
Not too much for us, no.
I was lucky I had a job all through that depression.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't make a lot of money, but we had enough to get by on, which a lot of people didn't have. Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like a really scary time.
Well, people wouldn't think of eating just a little bit like we did, you know. We'd have spaghetti and meatloaf and all that stuff. But I baked all the things. And I made all the clothes too for most of the kids.
I remember back in those days you could go and buy a good fresh ham for 5 cents a pound.
That's right.
Yeah. A dozen eggs for about 11 cents, 12 cents.
When Dick was little, we had quite a good backyard, and there was mint growing up alongside the fence. So every Saturday he'd go out and he'd cut them off about little things about that long, put up a package of them, and take it to the meat market, and the man would take it and put them in the meat market to make it pretty. So he'd come home and he'd be whistling home and said, well, he sold it all because he was happy.
He'd make up bunches and put a rubber band around it.
You had made a comment the other night about your dad, because I was saying that you had a lot of kids that could take care of you, and you made a comment about your dad. That he had said something to you about you take care of yourselves and you have to take care of me.
Yeah, I can remember him telling us that. You boys should take care of yourself, you never have to take care of me. Because what he was saying, that back in those days, people that got too old to work, they lived with their children, and the children had to take care of them till they died. But nobody ever had to take care of him, I'll tell you. He took care of himself and his wife very well. Yeah. But back in those days, there was a lot of people. The old folks lived with the children. Yeah. Or else they went to what they call the poorhouse.
They had a poorhouse, that's right. I remember after we were married, we went up to
up to Athens.
Yeah.
And we saw the poorhouse there.
What was it like? Was it just a lot of people living in a small house?
And, well, people lived in there. If they had nobody to take care of them, and the government would say, well, here, you got to go and live here. And if they were capable of doing something, they had to try to help pay for their way. In other words, they grew a lot of vegetables and potatoes, and they had big farm, and practically everything was done by the people that lived in the poorhouse.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. They were too old to be working in the factory and that, but they could fuss around in the farm. And they made them work too if they could do something. Yeah.
That's good.
There's one lady here that has a little garden out there near the water, near there. And now she used to have all the vegetables, and the goats used to come up and eat everything. So now they took the goats away, and now she has roses
She got
and
good
flowers.
vegetables and flowers.
And she just go around there and clean it all up. He always says, how's your garden go?
Yeah.
She's
Mary,
very
Mary, quite contrary. How does your garden go?
Yeah, he's very nice. We see her once in a while.
Well, they had 4 houses in Buffalo. Remember the Marge worked? Your mother went in training. She had to go out to work
Work in a poorhouse?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't call it poorhouse. They called
to all the different hospitals. She had to go
She had
like
to
for
go
3
Towanda,
hours,
Towanda. Yeah.
3 months. That was it. And she had to go there, and the crazy people.
That's what it was.
That
It wasn't a poorhouse. It was
an
people that
asylum.
were not so crazy. Yeah, nuts out. What do they
That's
call
right.
it?
Asylum.
Yeah,
Asylum.
that's right. Well, she had when she was in training. It was 3 months.
They had an asylum. It was only just 2 blocks away from where my office was in Buffalo,
That's right.
right on Almond Avenue.
Yeah.
And that was one of our big accounts. That was a
I
good
remember
account.
we went out.
They had a lot of money to spend there.
On one time, we went out to go through, and you could have certain days you could go through and see everybody. I remember one man was standing in an ironing board there, and he was ironing with his hands and to write.
And he was nuts.
Yeah.
Wasn't he?
Yeah, he'd get it all got it all out, and then fold it all up, and got it all real nice. And then you take it all out, and then you take it out,
Do it
and
again.
find it all again. Yeah.
So, what do you think of Dad when you first met him?
Oh, we always liked him, yeah.
We
Marge.
thought Marge was doing pretty well.
Yeah.
She married him, I tell you. Yeah, he was a comer.
Yeah, he came over.
And he proved it too, boy.
When they were ready to get married anyway,
He'd come and ask me
come over and
after
ask him if he could take Marge.
and I was glad to say yes. Oh no, Marge she took care of herself
She
fine.
was happy and
I mean,
very nice.
if they want to get married, it was okay with me, I'll tell you. Well, I think she was, how old was Marge? She was 20?
It was, yeah, because she's out of school, and then,
Yeah.
and sure,
She'd gone to college for a year.
for the
She went to the
nursing.
University of
Nursing.
Buffalo. Oh, then she went to the University of Buffalo, then she went into nursing, yeah. She didn't know what she wanted to do. First she was wanting to be a school teacher.
No.
She wanted to be a school teacher. So I made arrangements for her to go. I had a name up at the University of Buffalo because they were big customers of mine.
Of yours, yeah.
And so I spoke to people I knew up there, and they said, sure, we'll fix it up for her to go here. She wants to become a teacher. Then she changed her mind. She didn't want to become a teacher. She wanted to be a nurse. So I said to her, that's fine. You're going to be sorry one of these days, but if you want to be a nurse, you're going to go stick to it now. She did.
He did.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you right now, she had some tough times, too.
Like what?
Why?
Well, when she worked out at this place where the nuts were, they scared the hell out of her out there. Yeah.
Well, she was in like one room, and they had to go down into like a basement or something and walk through a hall like that. It was just with somebody alone, you know, and she was always scared when you don't know what's going to happen.
Well,
That's the only
working
part.
in the hospital wasn't the easiest thing in
That's
the
the
world
only part.
either.
Well,
But she stayed up with it.
everybody had it.
But she would have been a good teacher, too, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think Julie'd be a good teacher.
That's what she plans on doing, don't she?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about World War II. I mean, at that point, did Dick go to?
Oh, he had to go in the service, yeah.
Dick was in the service during World War II.
Yeah.
right?
He was out on the island, and I remember when I used to write, every day I'd write a letter to him.
He was scheduled to go out to the islands, and the day that he was scheduled to go, the peace came.
Same as war.
Yeah.
So
They didn't.
No.
He didn't go.
That's
Didn't
right.
take him.
He was all ready to go.
Yeah.
Oh, so he never had. So he never actually had to go into combat or anything.
No, no. But he stayed in for I think 18 years. I think he should have stayed till 20.
Mm.
Well, he was with the Air Corps, and he liked it. A nice bunch of guys, and they were also nice to him. He didn't have his high school graduation,
Oh, no.
and these guys saw that he could finish his high school graduation, and then he took a course at home, and they all helped him, and he got a college degree.
That's
Yeah,
great.
he's got a degree in engineering,
That's
and
great.
he got it at home. But he had, the fellows that he was with, they all liked him so well, and they helped him with his schooling. Yeah.
What does he see that? What do you see is it? What's the difference between World War I and World War II? Do you? I mean, do you see a big? Is there a very big difference? Or
Oh,
I'm sure it must have been.
It was so, I mean, it was the World War II. World War I, it was all marching and stuff, and then II, they had all kinds of transportation problems. Right, and then they had so much, the airplanes coming, and boy, with the difference they made too.
So
And
World
air
War,
fights. Yeah.
World War II is more of a technology
Oh,
war.
yes, much more. Yeah. And well, just look at this last one here we had over in Bay. They rained those bombs down on those people over there.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine they were scared to death. They never knew when a bomb was going to hit them.
Well, Bud had to go in too.
Well,
And he was in for 4 years.
Yeah, but he spent the biggest part of his time up in Alaska.
Yeah. Not a lot.
Really?
2 years.
I don't know he was in Alaska.
Yeah, he was in Alaska for what, 2 or 3 years at least.
And this was this during the war or?
No, it was in the service.
Yeah, it was in the
peacetime.
service, yeah.
Yeah.
No, because Dick had gone, or just was he ready to go, and then the war was over, so Bud wasn't in the...
There was no war on when Bud was in the service,
Mm.
No,
but he had service, or he served his time.
he was in the Air Force.
Mm.
And Foster went in too. He had to send up.
But he was just in the Home Guard.
Uh-huh.
He never became the regular army. He was just in the Home Guard. Yeah.
What do you think the biggest changes in technology have been, like from the time that you grew up to like the time that I grew up or now? What do you think are the biggest changes in technology?
The automobile, I would say, would be the biggest thing. Yeah. I remember the first car. And today, when you look out and see the automobiles, millions of them. Yeah.
We went down to Florida the first time. My father had his car, and my mother and Dad and I, we all come down to Florida the first time. And just, you'd wonder how they could go up and down those hills with a little old car.
So you drove down to Florida?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the road was through fields. Sometimes I guess they had to get out and open the gate and close it.
Well, there was pigs laid right in the middle of the road.
Mm.
And the little babies was having their dinner. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how long did it take to get to Florida?
Oh gosh, I don't remember. We used to, we put up a tent and had cots in it, and we stayed overnight.
It took a while then.
That was about the first time I saw colored people in Georgia when we came down that far.
So what did you think of Florida when you first visited? I'm sure it was very different than it is now.
Well, I think when you saw the palm trees and all that was beautiful. Yeah.
A lot of change from then to today.
And we stopped at where Ann lives. Where is that?
Pensacola? No.
No, the other one.
Oh,
On the beach.
Yeah.
You could drive on the beach. That's the first time.
They still drive on the beach over there. Daytona.
Daytona. That was
They used to have automobiles race on those beaches. You know that? It
No.
was a straight ahead run, but they went by the time. Yeah. That sand was so hard that they could run a race automobile down.
Wow.
I have a picture of my sister with a birthday. What do you call it?
Apple?
Yeah. She was in the swimming, and all the real long like this. She had wore stockings.
Yeah.
It was funny.
The girl went swimming those days. She was really dressed.
Very covered up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not like today. When was the first time did you ever have a horse to get around
Oh
with?
yeah.
Or
We always had horses.
Her family did, not mine. We never had a horse.
so you just walked everywhere?
Yeah.
When did you get your first car?
Before I came to Buffalo.
Before we were married, I got one, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I remember I drove home to Cardinal 2 or 3 times before we were married. I went alone over to Cardinal. I had a car. I could stop at Syracuse at my uncle's and aunts and then go on from there to Cardinal.
What about electricity? Maybe as far as other thing, one of the things I thought you'd say electricity. As far as what was the
they had
biggest
beautiful
change.
lamps hanging up from the ceiling, you know, and great big ones like that, and it'll give it lots of light.
Well, that would be one of the things too.
In the bedrooms, we'd always little
Is
lamps.
that supposed to be the answer, electricity?
No, I was just that was what I was expecting when I asked you about technology. Automobile was.
Well, the automobile changed the country completely. Yeah.
I remember we had a little radio, what they call them, a little squisker on it.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a little thing, and you'd have to put your finger on there and try it, and then we finally get some music, and then you
You have earphones to listen to.
Yeah, that was the first time.
So when did you get your first radio?
I don't know.
After you were married?
Oh, yes.
I imagine so.
No, I don't think we had it any younger than that, before that. I think Ethel's had the first radio.
Radio, yeah. I remember I lived with my uncle in Buffalo before we got married, of course, and they had a console. The thing would be about that high up, big fair, and it was just a radio, that's all.
Well,
You
like
get
that.
Bigger than the TV now.
But like
Yeah.
that one.
Well, it'll be a lot bigger than that because it went all the way to the
Yeah.
floor.
Well, that one is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember my father and mother had a radio like that too, and boy, that was a big thing. They could sit in the living room and hear music coming from Toronto and Montreal. And that was wonderful.
Did the church play a big role in, like, when you were growing up, in the way that your community got together? Was it around the church, or was the church sort of aside?
Yeah, we all went to church, and on Sunday we'd have to go to church in the morning, and at night we had another service on Sunday. Remember, we just
Catholic church didn't do that.
5 o'clock in the afternoons. It sure was.
Oh, you could go to mass on Saturday at 5 o'clock.
No, they didn't on Saturdays. Not then. It was all Sundays. And then after there, it was like
I don't remember church.
Oh, yes.
The only thing I remember is going to church on Sunday morning.
Yeah, that's right. They didn't have it on Saturday by that time.
Well, today every church in the country, I guess, has got a Saturday mass. It's either 4, 4:30, or 5 o'clock. So, and then they have 2 on the Sunday morning too, 2 masses.
I wasn't Catholic until I married him, and then I took the instructions, and Marge was my, what do you call her?
Marge?
Yeah,
What Marge?
my daughter.
She was what?
Well, when Oh, there's a wing for it. I can't
Confirmation?
remember. Yeah, confirmation.
She was.
Yes, she was. Up in
I
St.
never knew that.
Well, you sure did.
Your own daughter.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Huh.
I know you were baptized.
Yeah, well, I knew that. Yeah, right
But
before.
I didn't know about
Yeah.
confirmation.
Sure, she was my God bless mother.
Your godmother,
That's
really?
right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's neat.
Yeah.
And,
So-
and the pastor was I can't say it. Bishop.
Bishop.
Burke?
Bishop. Yep, he was. Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah, they do.
This is something I'm finding
They go
out.
around, they hit your face on it. They did for every one of them.
So were
You
you
say so.
were you a Protestant before you?
Mm-hmm.
What denomination?
It's funny. No, oh, I can't get it. All mixed up.
Presbyterian?
They didn't have a Catholic church where she lived.
No, well, they did it after we moved away, then they had one in Cherry Creek.
Well, I didn't have one when
No,
you lived
no,
there.
right there.
Is it Presbyterian?
No, they call it, no. Oh, I can't tell you what it was, can't remember. There was, no, I can't talk about
Episcopalian? No,
Be
not
Baptist or Methodist or something
Oh,
like
they
that.
had
maybe.
both of that, and then the other one where we went, my mother
I don't
had,
know. What would be?
Board ended, no. UNITE.
Oh, United.
Unitarian.
United?
Yeah, something like that.
United Church of Christ or something like that, I
Oh,
imagine.
okay.
Yeah.
Did it play a big role in was that the way that people got together
Yeah.
in the community? Was through
Yeah.
the church?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How one of the things I haven't been able to figure out is that before Vatican II, when the Catholic Mass was all in Latin, what did you think about that? Did you understand that?
No, well, they had English on one side of little book, and one side was Latin, and the other side English.
Okay, so you
Right
could
on the
see.
same time.
All right, so you knew what he was saying by seeing the English part, but you
Right.
heard the Latin.
Right.
Wow.
We went to a church when we first got married.
The prayers were all in Latin, but when they gave a sermon, of course. it
The sermon was in English. Yeah,
And
yeah.
the little churches were about 1 block away from where we lived in Niagara. It was German. And they'd have a
Sermon
sermon,
would be in German.
and then they'd turn around and say
A lot of
English.
German people lived in the neighborhood.
And then they'd turn around and say English for everybody else.
No, I remember I was an altar boy when I was living in Cardinal, and the Mass was in Latin, and of course you had to give the responses, and I knew what all the responses was off by heart, and I knew what they were in English too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because not.
But they changed that. Oh, they Catholic Church changed everything around. There was so many things. When I was a kid, and you were going to go to communion, you wouldn't drink a drop of water, you wouldn't eat anything at all. You mustn't have anything in your mouth at all
In the night before.
until you after you had communion. Today they go and they have breakfast before they have communion and everything else. Changed. So much had changed around. Then the priest never faced the audience.
Yeah, that's
Back
right.
in his back was always
That way.
to the congregation. Today he's facing the congregation. Yeah.
Was that because he was facing the?
I don't know why that is. I guess whoever was over in Rome decided that they should be facing the congregation. I don't know.
I remember when it changed that.
Yeah, I remember when they changed it.
Huh. I've never heard about that.
Well, you've never seen anything except the priest facing
Yeah.
the congregation. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I know you played piano, and now you said that you played the fiddle, and you talked about playing the ukulele.
Yeah.
Right?
He did.
Yeah.
So, did you learn how to play these things all by yourself?
Oh, yeah, I picked it
Sure,
up.
just
No, I took piano lessons. I knew how to read music. Yeah, I know how to read music. Yeah.
What,
When you had a little ukulele, and you just strum on it, and you find out how it goes.
I just chords, though.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just like you do.
Right.
With the guitar. You just pick up chords.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, you can get all kinds of paper shows you how to finger the different chords. Yeah.
Marge used to really beautiful music in the piano until she got married, and all the kids come along and everything, and she never played again.
Yeah. Yeah, because I haven't, I don't think I've ever heard her play.
But she did, though. She did beautifully.
Claire de Lune.
That was one
You
of
know
the...
what? You ever heard of that?
Isn't it da 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 da?
I can't tell you now, but I knew she knew how to play that. And
Yeah.
she did it good. Claire de Lune. We don't know how it goes now.
Did you ever write your own songs or
I don't
make
think
up
so.
your own music?
No, I don't think so.
No, I never really wrote any music in my life. No. I was lucky to be able to read it. I don't write it.
We used to go to the movies. They were always black and white.
Mm-hmm.
I remember before the colors came in.
What was your favorite movie growing up?
Oh, gee. I have to stop and think what it was.
Four Horsemen was me. What was it? The Four Horsemen of the
Of the Apocalypse?
Apocalypse, yes.
Was that
I remember going to see that alone. No, that was something. I think that was in Toronto. I was up visiting my brother in Toronto and I went there. Yeah.
Was that a silent movie or is that a?
No, that was a talking movie.
Yeah, they had movies, or they had words on the screen.
Oh, that was before that, yeah.
Yeah, looking back at it, which do you think were the best presidents of this century?
Truman, you said.
The best part?
Presidents.
President.
In my opinion, Harry Truman he was an honest man, yeah. And I think he tried to do more for the country. He was knowledgeable of our country too. I read a lot about Harry Truman, and maybe he didn't have all the education, but he was a good man for the country. He tried to be, and he was so honest. When he walked out, he says, "I came in here with this suitcase, and that's what I walk out with." All these other guys, they have a building put up for them and everything else. Well, I think Jimmy Carter is a real honest man. I think he tried his best too. But he was up against some crooks. Ronald Reagan was one of them. You know that Ronald Reagan had that set up so that those prisoners of war were let go the day that he was being president. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that.
That's true. They're finding out more every day that a lot of things he did that weren't too good. Right now they smell.
Teddy Roosevelt was
That's
president when you were growing up.
Yeah, that was while we were in Buffalo. He was shot, wasn't it?
Well, Franklin D.
FDR.
He was the war president.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And he was the one that said we have nothing to fear except fear itself. I don't know what you're talking about.
There was one that was shot in
I don't
Buffalo.
know. Oh, well, that was back my father's day. My father visited Buffalo, and he was over here at the World Fair when
President
who was killed? It was shot.
Garfield, maybe?
I was going to
in
say
Buffalo.
kidney.
And the guy died anyways. And he shouldn't have died because it was
Kinley?
the doctors.
Something like
McKinley?
McKinley. And the doctors, they made a mess of it. He should never have died, that guy. I read the story about it. They just messed him up. Yeah, my father was here in Buffalo when that happened.
Well, I guess that's all the story of our story from our family.